All right. So welcome back. We have Julyssa here with Eola's View. She is the venue coordinator for Eola View, and she also works with Cocktails Catering as an event specialist. So, Julyssa, thank you for taking the time today to chat with us. And we're going to be answering the questions that couples have when it comes to booking both their venue and their catering. So, just to kick us off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your role is with Eola View and Cocktails.
I love the introduction. Thank you for having me here. This is so amazing. I actually started out in cocktails catering as a server and moved my way up. So my position now is being the venue coordinator at Eola View. And now I'm the event specialist. So I help with Avery as his assistant, helping him trying to get new leads in, just like a little back work, update contracts. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I'm just in and out. I'm trying to manage both.
Awesome. And then as a venue coordinator, tell us a little bit about how you work with couples whenever they come in.
We have a team of an event producer and client engagement coordinator named Danielle, and event producer will be Jess. So we kind of all work together. So Danielle will be our go-to person for new leads over there. So for example, we'll do new leads, we'll reach out to them, send emails out, make an appointment so that way they could come in for a venue tour. And we'll both like to tag team on that. So if she's able to take a tour, she's able to. If not, then I would. But mainly that would be Jess because she's our event producer. So she would really be hands on with the people. We'll like to show the venue, just basically go downstairs, bring them up, and then we also like to do this little thing that all of us do. Whenever we talk in an elevator, they'll come up and then we'll be like, "Welcome to Eola View," because they watch the doors open and they see Eola View. And it just looks so different. It's very unique. And we just take them through the venue and just talk about each spots in our room because there's so many rooms. There's like 6 individual rooms. You're able to rent the whole venue or the third floor, the fourth floor, or individual rooms. So we like to go through with our couples. And then as we're doing that, we like to just have a conversation because, we're friends right now. We like to have a conversation, get to know these people because we're going to be walking with them throughout the whole process of it.
Yeah. And the venue, a lot of times, is the first stop for couples. So I think you're right. Being a friend and really feeling the vibe, that's something that we talked about in one of our last interviews is that, especially when you're coming to those core vendors like your venue, your photographer, your DJ, like these are people who you're working with since the beginning.
Yes.
So you definitely need to have that experience. I love that you said you just open the doors and then you take them through each room. Tell us a little bit more about Eola View as a space. I know you were saying it has different rooms and things like that. One of the things as a planner that caught my eye about Eola View is the location. And
Yeah.
also you have the late night option for after party kind of thing. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Eola View is located in downtown Orlando. So that is a very restaurant, speakeasy, club, nightlife area. But when you walk into our venue, it's just so different. It's very modern and then elegant, but also meets that moodiness, that speakeasy, modern feel, right? So it's just so beautiful just to see how everybody reacts to it. And what excites me the most about our venue is that we're very different. We make sure that we meet elegance but also meets the modern style of it. Once you walk in there, you'll see our third floor. Each individual room, all the names are for downtown Orlando cities. So we have the Eola room, we have our patio, we have the Robinson room, we have a 360 bar in the middle, we have a champagne bar. And then, especially to our couples, kind of joke around about it because we always show them the bathroom. And then sometimes our couples are like, "Why are you guys showing the bathroom?" I'm like, "Wait for it. You have to see it because it's so big." And you have to think about it. If we don't have a bridal room for the third floor, and if they don't want to add a bridal room, they will have to utilize either the third floor bathrooms. And it's so big, and you're able to do your makeup there. There's great lighting. It's another different type of room, I like to say, because it's such a big portion in all of you. And then when you go to the fourth floor, you have the swan room, the fountain room, and the central room. And the central room is actually what we do for the after party. So the central room, it has more of a more modern touch to it because it has the white wood dance floors. And everybody likes that area for the party because we're able to close the doors. It has a whole bunch of arts. Heidi, our curator, she picks those art pieces out to make all of our venues. So each individual room has a touch, has a style, has its own like little entity up there, if that makes sense. So the after party, we always like to mention that because people love to party. So once they do whatever type of event, when they do their ceremony, their reception, people still like to celebrate. So we always offer the central room as our party night because you could put a DJ up there. You could have late night snacks, what we like to use in catering. That way you always could have a little slider or a little dessert, like shooters that we have or cookies if you want it there. And then you're able to have fun and close the doors and just have a little moment of time.
Almost your own little speakeasy.
Exactly. Exactly. Everybody wants to go to the clubs, and especially like downtown Orlando, club life, it's a little crazy. So why not make the nightlife in our venue, but in a nicer, safer way?
Yeah. Tell me about when couples are coming in. What's the biggest mistake that you see couples make when choosing their venue?
Getting worried about the pricing. I feel like once they come in, they worry that we're too expensive, but they're not realizing that they're not only getting the venue, but we also have our round tables there. We already have black linens. We already have our bar area and like the liquor because we have like a storage room full of liquor. And then when you come with us, that you also come with cocktails catering because we're all underneath Everest Concept. So we're all underneath that umbrella. So you have the catering that we provide, you also have the bar that we provide, and you also have a full staff. So it's like, yes, people are like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive, but we do it all. We can get you a menu. We can get you food. We can get you bar. We can get you people who will help. Where else would you find that in other venues? There's other venues out there, but I've seen menus that cost way more that they offer for little. So I feel like I feel they're so hesitant to not wanting to book with us because they already see our prices and they're like, no, thank you. It's beautiful.
And that's been a revolving theme because like when you're working with a budget, it is important to look at all of the different things that need to go into the wedding, right? So you can find a spot that is like a one-stop shop. Sometimes it's worth the price to be able to save all of that time and energy and potentially working with people who don't work well together. You have the team already built there. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Beyond how beautiful the venue is, what specifically should couples be looking at when they're touring the space?
How can they envision their wedding? So when they walk into the place, they just see this beautiful open area, and they're already overwhelmed with so many different things that we offer with the individual rooms. So I always say, I don't look into it where it's just a massive space and you feel like, oh, we could do this and this. Think about your ceremony first and think about your receptionist because that's how you're going to fear. Okay, can I see myself getting married inside one of these rooms? Can I see myself getting married in such an open area? Or do I want it more private? And also too, like in the dance floor, do I want it to be where, we could close the doors and go to Central Room? Or do we want to leave it here on the main floor? I always say, always have a floor plan. That's why whenever you go to our venue, we always try to, for example, the Robinson Room, it's way to the back, but we always try to keep it with round tables and set it up with our linens so you could see have dinner here. And then upstairs we will have in our fountain room where we have a ceremony room. So, okay, so we can have ceremony upstairs and maybe transition in cocktail hour in that open space. And then when the couples comes out, then we go into dinner time. So we always try to make sure we have it set up so couples could visually see it and to know how everything could
Connect.
Yeah, and connect. Yeah.
What are questions that couples always ask you when they're touring?
There's a lot of things. I think the most question is, are you going to be here? Or yeah, they always ask us that because I guess they just love the connection that we have with them. I feel like that's the more question that we do get as a team. Are you going to be here? Are you going to be here from end to day? But also too, do you do outside catering? They always ask because they feel like maybe they want a certain type of food But then we always try to say, hey, like whatever food you guys want, like I know you may have a favorite restaurant, but we could do that here for you. So that way they can see our warehouse in Cocktails Catering and pick out certain foods. We'll do like a special tasting for them so they could pick out their certain foods that they like. So they could see, hey, we could do it all. You just have to tell us what foods would you exactly want us to make for you. Because yes, you can pay
Yes.
outside because for us it's for a fee because since we do everything in house. So yes, you could go to your favorite restaurant, but is your favorite restaurant going to have servers? Is your favorite restaurant going to include
Yes.
or designer plates or silverware or goblets? Like our catering, we do signature package deals. So we do signature buffet, plated, and station, and that includes linens, goblets, our silverware, and including the staff. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and that is something that I feel like, especially when you're working with a couple who might not have a planner yet, a
Yes.
lot of the times servers are one of the back burner items. Like, oh, we're going to have this food. Well, if you're having a certain number of people, like who's setting it up?
Exactly.
Who's going to be serving it? Because if you have over 50 people, like you can't have a buffet line that just manages itself. It's going to be a mess,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
So, who's manning it? Also, I want to get into this is the bartending aspect of it. There is a whole inclusive that comes with catering that, yes, you can do it on your own, but sometimes, and this goes the same thing with the venue, sometimes when you're taking something that's a bare bone and you're building it, it can almost cost more money by the time you add up all of the little things that are involved, right?
Yes, no, it's so true. Because you have to realize, first of all, if you have a planner or not, then you have to think about your vendors. You have to think about, okay, in our venue, we're gonna get catering, then you're doing plus with bar. And then also too, like if you did want a different type of colors, that's also an upcharge as well. So you have to just think about all these, like, okay, like how you said, like, okay, this is a lot of money, but I'm getting all of above and not just trying to strive different places. And also too, another thing that couples may not know all the time, but we also have per vendor lists. We all have preferred vendors. And when you work with one another as a partnership, maybe you won't pay so much. Maybe because out of our partnership, you may even pay less or
Yes.
vice versa, you know? So
Oh, that's a really, really good point with the preferred vendors list. And this is something that couples definitely, when they're looking at venues, that because we're an external planning company,
yeah,
we get hired to be the client's advocate, more or less. Like we advocate for the couple. So one of the things that we do, we have a program called the Prelude Planning Program. And we help couples in the beginning stage of the journey where they're doing the venue sourcing, when they're booking their like core team, which I think is the most important part. Like you don't necessarily need a full planner, somebody to guide you the whole way. You need somebody for the beginning
yes,
to get you set up, and then you need somebody to run the day. Like, so what we do during the Prelude Planning Program is we actually go through and we schedule consultations with venues, and you'll see all venues are the gatekeepers almost. Like you guys all have your own sets of rules, regulations, things that you offer, things that you don't. Like we talked about, there are lots of venues that might be comparable in price or less in price, but they offer so much less. So looking at that value, looking at that contract to say, okay, I love this space. I can see myself in it, but let's look at the nitty gritty details.
yes.
When it comes to that, what would you say that couples should look out for when they're booking their venue inside the contract?
Just to make sure that you have an estimate of how many people are coming. Because with not only the venue, yes, we are able to have, depending on what room you're going to book, we always have a certain, for example, like the third floor, you're able to fit up to, I want to say 300, right? But in a room, you're able to fit up to, I want to say you could push it for 90, but you also have to realize the food wise in our side. So you always want to make sure that you want to look for, okay, how many people are actually going to come? Because that also differs on what room you want to make sure that you book. Because if they're, hey, like I do want a ceremony and I do want I want to rent the whole venue, right? But you're only going to have 50 people. Cool if you want to, but at the same time, we want to make sure that it makes sense. Not only it makes sense for you, most important, but also if it makes sense for us as well. So we want to make sure that we can get you to book our venue, but in a cost that you feel like it's comfortable. We want to make sure that we make your day special. So if we feel like it makes sense for you to have maybe the fourth floor instead of a full venue, or maybe these two rooms for the price that you're looking for, that's also another thing. I feel like there's always a controversy with having a budget, but I think it's very important that we know the couple's budget, because we want to know, how can we make your special day feel special? What can we do to help out? And then we'll be honest, if we feel like, oh, this is out of your budget, but just so you know, we could do something for you. We could work this out where it could fit into your budget, or we could work something out where you feel comfortable in order to go just a little bit over that budget.
Yes.
We'll tell you
It's
if,
not one size fit all.
yes.
I love how you say it's kind of a controversial subject, because it is. Because what I see in most times is couples want to jump right into the venue tours. They want to be able to visualize. And I get it. I'm a visual learner too, a visual person. But if you haven't already drafted that guest list, knowing exactly how many, like you said, we're not going to rent the whole thing for 50 guests. Like when I can fit 300 in one room, 50 in this room, 150 in this room, it's going to feel weird.
Yes.
So it's not just about the money. Like I'm sure if they're wanting to rent their own venue, money's probably not a problem. But are your guests going to feel comfortable? You know? And we're bringing it back to that budget aspect of it. Like we believe that you need to build a foundation for starting to tour venues.
Yes.
Because that guest count that's your number one budget driver right there. Is like, how many people are you bringing? Because every guest costs something, right? Whether it's $200 or $400. Like if you're having a $10,000 wedding, that sounds like a little bit for us in the industry. We're like, oh, $10,000.
Yeah.
But if you're only inviting 10 people, that's $1,000 per person.
Yeah.
You know? So thinking about it differently whenever you're going into a space, and kind of knowing what your limitation is so that you can be flexible when you do the tour.
And then also to also look out in your contract is, because with us, our production, always look at that and be mindful that the production is for our servers that are coming in, because you're not just getting, okay, food, here you go. You're getting a captain who is basically going to be the person to lead everyone. Like if you have a wedding planner or if you have a timeline, that captain will make sure that we hit those timelines. Okay, food needs to be out at 6 o'clock. Food would be out at 6 o'clock. We'll have our servers who would basically serve. It's not just self-serve. We like to, okay, give me your plate. Oh, rice, here you go. Here's chicken. You know, you have all that.
Yes.
And also to the cleaning up part, we make sure that we bus, like they're always cleaning to make sure that everything goes smoothly, that the guests are just having fun and not paying attention to the behind the scenes. Because, you know, you want to focus on your wedding.
Yeah. These are all little things that you don't notice on the day, and it should be that way. Like you're not supposed to notice all of these little things going behind the scenes, but if you don't have it, oh, you'll notice.
Oh, you would definitely notice, because I love how you said with a buffet, like if you're going to have buffet and there's nobody there, they're just going to be a mess. So that's why you will have our captain and our servers, they'll go to each table and be like, hey, first table, table one, and then the guide you, oh, go this way instead of this way, because that way you could come in, get your food, and you go out that door, you know?
Yeah. And so going off of what you just said about the contract, are there any other fees or restrictions that tend to surprise couples when they're looking over their contracts?
I think that's mainly from what I've seen, and from Jess being our event producer, that's the only thing that I always hear clients go back to her and tell her on, or even me, like, oh, like, what's this production fee? Because they don't understand why we have that. They're like, okay, like, well, what does this mean? And then that's just explaining, well, this is to pay our servers, our team, to come here and set up your tables, to make sure that all the plates and silverware are clean. And then let's say if the person who makes the centerpiece, if we provide that, they provide that, they'll put that on the table, they'll set it up on the table as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then to also too, if you have like a buffet, they set up the buffet. It's not just the shapers on the table. They make sure it's hooked up. They make sure they have crinkle underneath it.
Yes.
So let's say, for example, if you have color scheme of black, white, and green, they'll make sure that they have black, green, and white accents on your buffet table to make sure that it's cohesive with the wedding, you know?
Yeah. Tell me how you work with other vendors as far as how you work with the planner or the DJ or anything like that. Are there any meetings that you have prior to the wedding day that help set the stage for the big day?
So with some of our vendors, like for example, for a DJ, like if they don't go with our DJ and they go with a different DJ, that's perfectly fine. We just always make sure that they have a COI. They just actually come in. I know that because Jess is more the event producer. So she would contact them to make sure they have all that information. And I know that the wedding planner, she will communicate with the wedding planner and the DJ. And then when they come in, I always guide them to where they're going to be at because I would know what the floor plan is. We wouldn't have a sit down meeting. They'll kind of just email back and forth with Jess on what time are they going to come, how early they're going to come. And then I'll let them up if they're here. And then I'll suggest where they could be at because there's so many different rooms. So that way they won't get in the way of anything, just to show them the floor plan so they can set up, okay, maybe I should go here, or maybe I should go upstairs, kind of. So it
Okay,
works.
nice. Yes. And how about with the couple? How many meetings do you have with the couple, and what is the extent of the help that you provide as a venue coordinator?
So they'll meet the first time to come in to tour, and then they'll usually speak with Jess because she's our event producer there. We always suggest to do a walkthrough 30 days before your wedding. So then that way they could be like, okay, maybe if they change their mind on the floor plan. We usually do it so we can make sure that we have everything on the floor plan. And I like to like have our printed floor plan out. So I know, okay, this is where they want this table set up. This is where they want the buffet at. And then we will walk where they have a rental. So the third floor, for example, I will walk with them, be like, okay, so you want this here, this is how you want to do it. And then we have a whole bunch of artwork. So if they don't feel like their artwork is appropriate or they want to change out for something else, then I will have to get with Heidi, our curator, to see what she can do to replace it and to see if there is a fee or not. Because we just always want to make sure that the couple is okay and they feel confident in their wedding and that they know, okay, this is exactly what our floor plan is. Like,
Yeah.
because they could just send it over, but they have to like visually like see the space and actually spend time and think about it.
Yeah. So it's really about that 30 days envisioning what the day looks like from start to finish and like the flow. That's what I love about the fact that you guys do catering too, is that another venue might not take into consideration the bar placement or where the food should be. That makes the most sense because they don't have that hospitality background and understand people flow. Like that's a whole other skill set that
It is.
like, are they going to be all bundled up in the corner there? Because with all the different rooms that you have, like, you don't want to line all the way to the next hall. Like, we want to make sure that it's streamlined and that everybody gets through and it's seamless the whole way through.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit more about catering specifically. What should couples consider when they're choosing a caterer?
I know there's so many different caterings out there. Do your research first. Look at the Google reviews. See what is good, see what is not. Take those in consideration. And the reason why I say this, because it's like if you're looking for a restaurant and you're like, oh, like I'm kind of hungry. And then, sometimes I'm feeling, okay, I want to get tacos Monday. But then I'm also like, but actually I kind of want to go to Chili's. So what do? We look either on social media or we look on Google and we look at the reviews. We look at the pictures. We look to see the comments to see what is good and what isn't good. And that's what I feel like couples need to see is like, pick your top three. Pick your top three caterings because if you pick 5 or 6 caterings, you're going to be so overwhelmed. Think about what you want from a catering. Does it include package deals? Does it include bar? Does this include the signature package deals that we have, like the linens included, the goblets, the champagne fluids, the silverware, the sets? Or is this catering that you love their food, but they don't supply any of that? So I said pick top 3. Look at the reviews, look at their social media, look at their pictures, look at the reviews on what they have and see what they offer. And also too, for summer, I know that we offer a discount for our catering. So look at that too. Are they doing any other discounts for their catering?
What are some other factors that influence catering costs when it comes to food?
Yes. So for our package deals, we have signature buffet, plated, and station. So Buffet is more when they're in the shafer and then they have the hot food inside. And then you have our chefs or servers that would plate the food. And then you're able to go and sit down and eat. Then for plated, it's a whole different production. Now you're paying for plates. And let's say if nobody's there, if they don't show up to their wedding, that plate is still there. That's why it's really important to RSVP for weddings or events, because if you're doing plated, that plate is still being paid for. So we still put it out there, but if we notice that the person's not there for their food, we have to take it back, because what the chef does is that he would plate all the food, and then we have a menu where we have like, okay, this person wants steak, this person wants chicken, this person's vegetarian. So that's also taken consideration too. And not only that, depending on how many people are in the event, we will have 3 servers and then a runner. So basically what that is that our servers will already stand in each table. And let's, for example, one table, table 1, and then a server. And then table 3 will be another server. And then we'll have our 3 runners, and they have to grab it with their tray, set it down, and then we have to serve. And we still have, even if that person, like the guest is not there, we still have to continue to go because we have to finish the flow. So then that is also why that cost may be up, because all that production that we're doing. Then for station 2, it's another ad, because it's like a set station that we put like a little booth, and we have like, for example, our pasta station, and we have to have a chef and a server there, and they like, so they would make the food right in front of you. If you wanted to do that, then you have to think about the chef making the food. Then another server has to go back and forth to make sure that they get all the ingredients and bust out all the dirty plates, the frying pans that they have.
So of the 3 options, what is the most, it sounds like plated might be the most cumbersome as far as all of the little details that go into it. Is that the most expensive option then? Would be the plated?
It really just depends. Plated is more of in the middle, supposed to our
Interesting.
because it's live action. And then we also have to keep aware of, for example, if we have like a flatbread station, to make sure that we're keeping the eye on the food, because that's just being displayed. And then we have another that's live action, and you have your making the pasta in front of you.
So that's definitely a consideration. Something that I always tell couples is that's one of the ways that you can save. A lot of people have this idea in their mind that they want to do a beautiful, like plated dinner, very elegant and things like that. But realistically speaking, especially when you're dealing with larger guest counts, getting into the 120s plus, I always recommend buffet just for flow of service. And you're also going to keep your costs down in that way.
Buffets are popular ones because it's very cost efficient. Like, in my opinion, plated is very beautiful, very elegant. You have someone serving, like if you're in a restaurant. But for a wedding, it really depends on what you want to focus on. If you want to like party more, or if you just want like a more elegant wedding, it really depends. I think buffet is more cost efficient, and you are able to make it seamless if you have the staff there helping, and you have more food, and you're able to come back again. It's not just you eat one time and that's it.
On that note of what you just said about the opportunity to get seconds and things like that, is there anything to take into consideration for the couple? Because I know a lot of vendors on their contracts, they need food, because you have the DJ who's been there since 1 o'clock and is going to stay there till 2 a.m. Like, of course you want to have a plate for him. Is there a separate fee or cost for that? Or do you do other options for vendors? Like, how does that work?
So I want to say it is included for our vendors. We just always make sure to see how many vendors that there will be. So we always make sure that anytime that we do the contracts, we'll put on our guests, okay, it's 5 vendors coming, so then we'll count it as 55. We make sure that we will have all the guests go first, then it'll be the vendors go last. And then if there's still food, then we leave it for everyone to come back, and they'll do self-serve.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that you have a system for that too, because that can get messy. That's another thing that we talked about with the DJ that we interviewed just recently, is that if you don't have a flow for dinner, like, again, your lines out the door, like it's wild. So to be able to have that system in place, you can know that like your day is going to be absolutely seamless from start to finish just with that.
Yes. I totally agree.
If you could sit down with a couple the day after they got engaged, what is one piece of advice that you would give them?
Oh, that's a good one. to always choose each other.
Oof.
And the reason that I say that is because you could love anyone. You could date anyone if you truly wanted to. But are you going to hold that person down? Whether they're mad, sad, going through a mood swing, going through a sickness, is that going to be your person that you choose every day? Are you going to wake up to that person and be like, this is a person I want to wake up to every day? This is the person I want to go through hardship with every day. You know, that's how I feel.
Oh, I love that. And that is when you know that the person that you're hiring is in your team.
Yeah.
Because the wedding day is special, but at the end of the day, you're like starting the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yes. And there's people who I know for one of my event producers here, they did this whole production, this beautiful wedding. And then 2 years later, they got a divorce. And then she's getting remarried with someone, she's getting married to someone else. And it's like, yes, you can always have beautiful production. You can always have all of this great time with this one, but is this your person? Is this person you're going to choose to be with and go through these hard things? Are you guys going to choose each other every day?
Yeah. And wedding planning tests that choice. Do you ever meet with like just one partner?
Yes, yes. And they're like, oh, well, I love it because we do have where the bride knows everything that she wants. But then she talks to her groom and she's like, well, let me make sure I talk to my groom about it. And then she'll talk to him or FaceTime him. And then she's like, oh, well, look at these colors or look at this. This is what we want to do. And I love that because, like, even though she had a set plan, she also communicated with her groom. And she was like, oh, yeah, like he agreed. And then if he does say an opinion, then she listens to that opinion. I know we had a tasting here last week that these beautiful young couple, they were so cute. But she was like, oh, like I have an inspo. It's always Pinterest. We love Pinterest, but that's not going to build your wedding. So she did show me her inspo picture. It's like a cocktail with like this polyester black and then the lace over it. And so these are the items that we have in that the polyester is included, but if you did wanted to do a silk, because her picture was silk and the lace over, that would be an extra cost. So he was looking at it. He saw she was really debating on it. She was going through her emotions of thinking about it. And he was like, oh, well, this is nice. Like, I like the lace over. He was like, do you have other options? And then I was showing other options where instead of having the lace on top, we could always tie it to have like the
accent.
Yeah, like our little runner to tie it to make it look nice. And then when she had looked at him, she was like, oh, like she took into consideration, oh, maybe this can be a different way, a different style of what we could do for a wedding. Because want it one way, but I like how they were able to ask one another and to be like, okay, well, let's try this, let's try that.
This is a reoccurring theme that we talk about in these interviews, the flexibility.
Yes.
And Mike was talking about how it's so true. Nowadays, a lot of the Pinterest photos, like they're AI. And so the expectation is up here,
Yes.
but it's not reality. And AI also is showing you this and it's not your budget. So how do we make it what it truly should be, an inspiration photo, and still feel like you and still give you that same feeling, but that matches the reality of the situation, whether it be a cost factor, whether it be an availability factor, because sometimes those things just don't exist.
No.
It looks gorgeous. It's perfect, but perfect doesn't exist. So how do we make it you? How do we make it unique? How do we make it to where we can have maybe not a compromise, but just something that is going to make you feel like, yes, this is it.
Yeah. Yes, because you had to show them the options because like AI has such a high expectation now, and they show you this whole beautiful, elegant wedding, and you're just like, we can make something similar, but we won't have the exact stuff to do that because one, your budget, and also two, like what do we have in a house that we can make that look like that? And sometimes be realistic, doing it naturally is the best way, it looks even better sometimes from the picture.
Absolutely. Less is more.
Yes. Less is more.
So is there anything else that you'd like to share that you feel like couples should know when they're hiring catering or their venue?
To pick up the phone. I feel like every time that we try to look for new leads or try to call them, they start off first good where they put in the inquiry in that they want to do their wedding or where they want to do their wedding. They want us to be catering. But then when we call them or email them, they're like, they probably think we're collections or a call. And then it's like, no, we're not. We're just trying to be the caterers for you. We're just trying to introduce ourselves and also to come to your appointments. Yes, I know life gets so busy and so hectic, but just to come to your appointments so that way you could, even if it's a consultation or just to come, you guys could experience that fullness of what we offer. So that way you can have a personal connection with us to see if we're a right fit for you and vice versa for us and to see if we really enjoy our food. Because at the end of the day, we're here for you. It's not the other way around. So
Yeah.
I think those are my two takes on that.
So just to wrap up, thank you, Julyssa, so much for sharing your knowledge with us and just being able to give the perspective from both the venue and the catering aspect and how that really works together. If a couple wants to reach out to you or to Eola View or Cocktails Catering, what is the best way for them to contact you?
So definitely for the venue and for catering, we have so many resources to do it. So I would say look us up on Google, look us up on Instagram, and you'll see our number is there and they'll take you to our direct line. As soon as you call, we'll pick up the phone and we'll get you started from there.
Thank you again so much. It was such a pleasure. Your energy is amazing. And I know I just want to bring this back to even if you're not there on the day, I can tell just by seeing everybody being involved, but really a team, and you have a great synergies. And I just love everything that you guys are doing. Great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Shout out to Mike for introducing this. And yes, no, I do value our team a lot. We have amazing team here from the venue side and from Cocktails catering side. We just work together so well.